The United States and South Korea are two very different countries from one another, everyday life and interactions being one of the differences. Studying the differences is very interesting, and I feel like when learning the language, you should also study the culture of the country. While studying, I learned that there are unique differences, such as the way you interact with people while going about your daily life. These include interactions between friends, informal situations, and lastly, when encountering strangers. One might not realize this, but the way in which you speak to people throughout the day can be completely different from one another. Between friends, the relationship is pretty much similar in both the US and Korea. Friendship in both countries mean that two people trust and care for one another, though the communication can be different. In the US, it is normal for two friends to have a conversation on the phone with no exact purpose and instead just for chatting. On the other hand, Koreans tend to call when there's a purpose in mind and not just for chatting. The way in which you meet friends in both countries is very similar, though. You can meet through work or school or any other common activity that you share. The formal interactions I feel like are the most different in the two countries, because in America there isn't really a formal language, while in Korea there's a different speaking pattern depending on whom you're talking to, such as the formal and humble forms. This is very important in Korea when in formal situations, like when speaking to your parents or a boss or any kind of elders. Lastly, encountering strangers are even more complicated within the US and Korea. It may be hard to speak to a stranger in Korea because you have no idea of their status or relationship towards you. In comparison, talking to a stranger in America might be a little easier since there's no way to adjust English in a formal situation. Every single day, you meet a variety of people, and you must adjust your speaking patterns to adjust to their relationship towards you. While casual interactions are more similar in the two countries, the formal and encountering strangers are a little different. While there are humble and formal forms in Korean, in English there is no really way to change your speaking pattern when talking to someone from a different status as you. The way in which we speak to people, with friends, teachers or bosses or strangers, can be completely different in both the countries.